The one wheel has a giant problem, and in this video, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so about 2 months ago, I invented a product that fixes this problem. And it worked so well that in the video, I actually pitched this idea to One Wheel to see if they wanted to work together to mass produce, market, and sell my invention. Now, in the time since I released that video, I met with a patent attorney, a different company offered to mass produce the wheel stand for me, and I had an existential crisis. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is this problem that I set out to solve? Let's run it back. Now, I ride my one wheel every day. Aside from it being insanely fun, I live in a city, so it pretty much replaces my car, which is nice because my car is a gigantic van. I use it to commute to the hack space where I build many of my projects, and I use it to run errands and go to the grocery store, which is where this super annoying problem happens. So usually when I go to the grocery store, I like to grab a shopping cart and throw the one wheel inside, but these ones have that quarter coin deposit, and I always forget to bring a quarter, so like half the time I just gotta carry this thing inside like a giant briefcase. And it has this handle, which is pretty good, but after like 3 minutes, you just feel like an absolute clown. This is like a 35-pound giant thing that you have to navigate through the store. I mean, if I had my way, I'd just ride this around the store, but they tend not to like that. It's truly my favorite way to get around, but this is horrible. And then there's also there's this handle here, and look at this. I mean, just imagine there were like a couple wheels down there. You could roll this thing around like a rolly suitcase. I don't understand why they don't just make it like this. I mean, everything's there. It took 3 weeks of engineering, a few wrong turns, and 11 prototypes, but I finally invented a functional solution, what I'm calling the wheel stand. When I made that first video, it seemed to work perfectly, but after using this thing almost daily for 2 months, I found some problems that need fixing. Especially if thousands of people are gonna use this thing. Well, it broke more than the first time it broke, but you got the point. This just goes to show that strong materials can't always compensate for a weak design. If you didn't see the first video, I printed this final version in PPACF, a super strong carbon fiber reinforced nylon, but if you accidentally step on that fin like I did last week, you're stressing the print in its weakest orientation and it will snap right along the layer lines. This informed the first change I'm making to the wheel stand, which Slant3D pointed out in their fantastic video about optimizing this design for mass production 3D printing. Gabe also made quite an interesting business proposition in that video, but we'll get to that later. Now, another design goal is to make the wheel stand strong enough in shape that it can be printed with more accessible materials. All of the prototypes in this video are made from PETG. You might notice a third upgrade that I made on this prototype, a third wheel. This is probably the change that I am most excited about because it's really gonna enhance the user experience of the wheel stand. So after about a minute of wheeling it around, your arm starts to really get tired, and I think that's for 2 reasons. One is it's pretty low, so my arm is extended really far down. And the other is it's just 35 pounds, it's heavy. And at the end of the day, you're supporting half of that weight with your arm. This is a great example of how the best product improvements come from just using a product out in the wild for real and noticing pain points. I noticed that when I'm in a store standing in the checkout line, I prop the one wheel up on the wheel stand and then just scoot it along as the line moves forward without tilting it all the way down. And that got me thinking, why not just replace the stand with a third wheel so that you can roll it around vertically all the time? Just like a rolly suitcase with casters. 0 strain on your arm, maximum ease of use. All right, so first test, does it fit? Which brings me to design challenge number 4, probably the most audience recommended change, using the existing screw holes in the bumper to attach the wheel stand. This is genius. Thank you to everyone who recommended this. It seems obvious, but honestly, I think it flitted across my mind for like half a second when I was designing the original. Sometimes you just need 100 comments to really hammer something home. Well, that and the fact that my original attachment method has so many problems. A little tight. All right, Not only does it rely on these specific expensive foot pads for the one wheel that most owners don't have, but it is super difficult to get on and off. I kind of downplayed that in the original video, but yeah, not fun.
All right, did we do the profile right? Ooh, what? What the heck happened? So it looks like the screw holes are in there pretty perfectly. So screw hole attachment works, but the problem is that gigantic gap. I mean, the profile looks correct. You can see it's kind of like parallel to the one wheel all the way around. It's just the whole thing is like shifted backwards too much. That gap should be pretty easy to fix, but I still want to test the rolling action. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna stuff a rag in there to take up the space. Get our screws in. All right, so, is this functional? Not a problem while riding, as expected. Now let's say we get to the store and we want to tilt it up. Oh boy, yeah, it really wants to fall backwards. Okay, so that is not balanced.
This was pretty simple to fix by just holding the one wheel so it was balanced over the wheel stand and measuring the gap. I also took this as an opportunity to widen the spacing of the wheels. Because the OG wheel stand has such a narrow wheelbase, it tends to rock back and forth as you roll it over rough surfaces. Widening the wheelbase past the ends of the wheel stand not only solves this problem, but it strengthens the design, simplifies the design, and eliminates a whole bunch of support material. I basically stole this idea right from Slant3D's video, so Gabe, thanks for the idea.
Woo, that's sick. All right, version 2 or prototype 13, I don't know how we're counting this. Definitely a lot easier to get the screws in. All right, did we already do it after just 2 prototypes? I'm feeling very optimistic. Here we go. Yes. Oh no! I overcorrected the other way. Now it's way past the balance point.
As much as it would have been nice to get it in 2 tries, I was happy to have an excuse to hop back into CAD and sneak some more upgrades into the design. This is why it takes dozens of prototypes to design a good product. You just learn so much with each prototype, and not always what you expect. For example, yes, the whole one wheel had to tilt back slightly, and I could have done that by once again adjusting the position of the third wheel. But I realized that I could improve the design even more by leaving the third wheel and extending the bottom wheels outwards. This elevates the entire one wheel, putting less strain on your arm.
But for those times when you do want to strain your arms, stay hydrated with the sponsor of today's video, Element.
Hydration isn't just about drinking water. Did you know that many people need 2 to 3 times the amount of sodium than recommended by the government? Element makes healthy hydration easy with a 0 sugar electrolyte drink mix in a convenient stick pack. Each stick contains a meaningful dose of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and comes in a variety of fun flavors, from citrus to chocolate caramel, very good with coffee, to my favorite, mango chili.
Ooh, that might be my favorite. Eden's gonna hate that.
You might be thinking, hey, I don't run marathons, I don't need electrolytes. Well, the fact is, no matter how you spend your days, your body needs electrolytes just to function properly. Cognitive function, getting quality sleep, healthy blood pressure, maintaining steady energy throughout the day. Pretty much every aspect of your health can be improved by consuming enough electrolytes. If you live an active lifestyle, whether that be through exercise or building stuff in your garage, your body needs even more electrolytes. Check out the link in the description to get a free Element sample pack with purchase. This includes 1 packet of every flavor, including my favorite, mango chili. Thank you to Element for sponsoring this video. Now let's go see if prototype 15 is the one.
Oh yeah, that is, like, it is tight, but it's way easier to get on. The Pet G having some flex helps with that a lot. All right, moment of truth. So let's say you're one-wheeling along, you know. You stop, you get to the store, you tilt it up. Yes! Let's go, baby. Oh, dude, look at that. It's like rolling on its own. That is so stable. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's wild. Oh my gosh.
Had I done it? After 14 prototypes, had I finally perfected the wheel stand? It seemed like it, but the only way to find out for sure was to take this thing out in the wild. Just like the last one, it doesn't interfere while riding, and it does roll super nice inside the grocery store, but pretty soon, I discovered a problem.
So in a straight line, it's a dream. The problem is when you want to take a corner, you can't exactly slide the wheels very well, so the best thing to do is tilt it down and then come around like this.
Who would have thought 3 fixed wheels would be hard to turn? Not me. Actually, I did worry this would happen, but I was hoping physics would make an exception for me because adding a caster seemed like this really difficult design challenge. So instead of attacking this problem head on, I procrastinated and wasted half a day on a side quest of designing airless tires. I thought it might make it a bit easier to roll the wheel stand over bumps, and airless tires are cool, but this was a total failure.
Ooh, that is a lot of friction. It makes it bouncy, which I don't like.
Unsure what to do next, I went over to the Vancouver hackspace to pick up some more of those blue wheels, and while I was there, I told another member about the caster problem. And the amazing thing about talking through your ideas is you realize they're a lot simpler than you thought. If anything, replacing the third wheel with a caster creates a simpler design than having a fixed wheel. This also gave me the opportunity to fix another problem.
Like if you slam down on this end, ooh, actually, yeah, it falls off.
My idea was to add grip to this lip by creating a sawtooth pattern. Also, as you can see, I added these holes to add a bit of strength in style. It might sound counterintuitive, but with 3D printing, sometimes replacing these big volumes with a bunch of holes actually increases the strength. This is because you're replacing this sparse infill with solid walls. And when those voids are cylinders, you avoid stress concentrations and reduce the risk of cracks.
So I purposely undersized this hole so I could tap it with these metal threads, but I might have gone a little too small. Might have to try something a little more sketchy. Oh, that snapped on so well. I think our little grip fingers, those spikes are interfacing with the grip tape on the foot pads. That's perfect. Yes. Damn, this works so well now. All right. Did we get the angle right? Here we go. Ooh. Yeah! Oh, boy. Okay, it's a little unstable.
Immediately, I saw what was happening. When the caster turns around, it dramatically shortens the wheelbase, making it super unstable. This was really simple to fix by just pulling the caster upwards, and while prototype number 16 prints, I want to tell you why I didn't do one of the top requested upgrades to the wheel stand, just integrating it into the bumper. Yes, the bumper is removable. It's kind of a consumable part. You replace it when it gets super worn from scraping on pavement, and I could have 3D modeled the entire bumper, mounted the wheel stand directly on it, and then 3D printed that. But that has two major problems. One, it would be a massive 3D print, bigger than the print volume of most 3D printers, which feels pretty wasteful when the bumper is a consumable part. My wheel stand sits above the ground plane so it doesn't scrape the pavement, and it will outlast the bumper. Two, it's just a bad user experience. The whole idea with the wheel stand is you can easily take it off when you want to ride on trails or just not have this giant thing hanging off the back. If that involved replacing the bumper, not only does that require removing and replacing 6 screws, but it would mean you would have to carry around a spare bumper with you. But if you think that would make a better solution, I'm putting all the files for this project online, so feel free to adapt it and prove me wrong.
All right, here we go. Have we done it? Yes! Woo! Let me try that again.
Prototype 16 works so good, and I could spend the rest of the video telling you how awesome this is, but that's probably not why you're here. So let's address the elephant in the room. Why am I giving away my $1 million invention? Well, at the end of the last video, I pitched the wheel stand to the company that makes the one wheel.
It's too fast! How could you even tell what's on?
I can tell.
Now, Future Motion, this part of the video is for you. I think this is a pretty awesome attachment for the One Wheel GT. I think it solves a legitimate problem that a lot of one wheel owners have. So if you want to work together to make a mass-produced version of the wheel stand and sell it under the One Wheel banner, I think we can make a lot of money together. You know where to find me. Unsurprisingly, I never heard back from Future Motion. It's not surprising because they're not really incentivized to work with me on this. They got their own business, but more importantly, at the time of publishing that video, I hadn't patented the wheel stand. Which brings me to the next development. Surprise, surprise, I got an email from a patent attorney.
My name's Michael. I'm an attorney. I've been working on patents and corporate law for about 4 years now.
What are the reasons to patent the wheel stand?
Number one, like you thought you can sell this patent to one wheel. The patent would give you rights for if they wanted to make this exact wheel stand as approved in the patent. A lot of people get this misconstrued and they think of patents as like patent protection, because that's the term that lawyers use when they're kind of like, you know, fear-mongering a little bit to get people to purchase patents from them. But the reality is that a patent is an offensive weapon. You're using a patent because you want to sue somebody with it, and you think either, you know, somebody's going to copy your idea, or, well, actually, that's really it. You think somebody's going to copy your idea, so you're using that to sue them and stop them from doing that, or to get a whole bunch of money from them when they do get it.
So how much would this cost?
So patents, the costs are broken down into all the steps. So your first cost is like your filing fees, which are 3 fees put together. It's a filing fee, a search fee, and an examination fee. Is that it kind of depends on how if you're a small entity, which means you have less than a certain number of employees, $664. Prosecution fees, which you know, we see. Then there's maintenance fees that you pay every 4 years. Just fees without like lawyer costs. You know, you're looking at average of like 10 to maybe 14, depending on how complicated of a patent it is. So the timeline is like you're looking at 2 years usually. Average 18 months before, you know, the patent office even replies to you.
All right, man. Well, I will let you get back to your day. Thank you once again.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in my camper at the moment, so like it's not. I just realized a great background, but
no worries. Are you on vacation or traveling full time?
I'm like traveling full time at the moment. So I was in Los Angeles for a bit, and I'm heading back east for a case I'm working on, and I'm in Nashville at the moment.
Nice. You're like the Michael McConaughey of lawyers. Matthew McConaughey.
Joking aside, a minimum of $10,000 is a hard pill to swallow. It might be worth it if I could sell the patent to Future Motion, but considering there's no indication that they're even interested, it's pretty risky. Alternatively, I could sell the wheel stand myself. Assuming each one retails for, I don't know, let's say $50, and I have a $20 profit margin on each wheel stand, that means I would have to sell 500 units just to break even on the patent, which actually sounds pretty doable. In fact, I have a turnkey production and distribution system just waiting for me on a silver platter, Slant 3D. In his response video, Gabe pitched me a business opportunity. Because this product is already 3D printable, why spend extra money for tooling, injection molding, factories, and storage? Gabe proposed partnering with Slant 3D. They could produce the wheel stand on demand at their gigantic print farm and ship out orders as they come in. It's a slam dunk. I'd be stupid not to do it. Right? Right? That's what I thought a month ago until the moment I hit send. In that split second, the reality of starting a product business came crashing down. I think there are 2 competing perspectives on creator product businesses. On one side, you have the wild success stories. These massive creators evangelizing about how launching a product allowed them to connect with their audience on a new level, scale their business beyond how many videos they can produce in a year, and make millions of dollars. On the other side, you have these usually less massive creators who are slowly realizing that starting a physical product business is really, really hard. Finding factories, distribution, marketing, web development, customer service, employees, legal, insurance, research and development. Obviously, some of these challenges could be lessened if I partnered with a company like Slant3D. But even if the production and distribution are super easy, the wheelstand is an add-on for a pretty dangerous electric skateboard. What if it failed in some way that I didn't expect and someone got hurt? I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want to get sued. I have this pretty magical job where I get to work for myself and get paid to be creative. Sure, there's sponsors, there's clients here and there, but that is an entirely different universe from dealing with thousands of customers around the world. One day, I do want to launch a product. Maybe something with a little more mass appeal.
There are dozens of us.
But right now, I feel like I'm just hitting my stride on YouTube. Why distract myself from the thing that brings me joy, makes me money, and is just getting started? I'd rather put the files online for free, let you guys download it, print it, modify it, and share your remixes. My focus, at least right now, needs to be on making phenomenal YouTube videos. And on that note, want to watch another? Special thank you to my top supporters on YouTube memberships and Patreon, Paige Arlt, Luis Armendariz, and my mom, Kathy Kurt. Love you, Mom.